Hey everybody, it is Micah. Welcome back. So I decided that I wanted to do something a little bit different. This is something I've been thinking about for quite a long time now. And since E3 just happened, I decided, hey, why don't I get one of my buddies here together and we will sit and we'll talk about everything that happened at E3. Now, I know this is a little bit after the fact, but like I said, this was kind of a last minute thing. So hopefully we'll be doing better in the future. But I want to introduce Dio, who is my partner here. We will be talking about stuff. Now, Dio was part of my free company back in Final Fantasy 14 from way back. From
Yeah, like what, 2.3, 2.4, something like that.
yeah, so
Long time ago.
it goes back quite a while because we're on 6.0 already. I cannot believe we're on 6.0 already. So I'm part of the free company. We've been hanging out. He even came out here back in 2019 and we went to Distant Worlds, the Final Fantasy concert together, which was amazing. I know that was your first time.
Yeah, it was. It was. That was actually my first time on the east, like in the Midwest, on that far west or that far east.
Yeah. So I've seen that concert I think 3-4 times, something like that, and like every time it just like gets me in the feels. So yeah, I remember the first time I went, I was see, and we're recording, and I'm blanking on his name. The original composer,
Nobuo.
Nobuo.
Nobuo. I feel like I feel like a bastard. I always like mispronounce his name.
Yeah, and I'm just being an idiot because we're recording now, and now I'm gonna blank on stuff I should know like that. But
That's okay.
him and Susan Calloway were at the concert, and it was just like one of the most amazing things to actually sit there and listen to the music with those two and hear Susan Calloway sing. Hearing her doing the opera from Final Fantasy VI, it was like I could die happy, sort of thing.
Amazing.
So,
I would have fan.
what was that?
I would have fanboyed. Absolutely, just fanboy.
So, but yeah, so we decided we're gonna talk about E3. So that's what, and then we're probably gonna do this more often, and we'll talk about a variety of different things from Final Fantasy 14 to other games, other stuff going on in the gaming world, and just having a little fun with it. I of course will still be continuing with my updated guides and everything new with that. I actually got one that I was working on earlier today. And then in Endwalkers, I actually want to start doing brand new guides for brand new content. So I'm going to try to get as much covered in the next 6 months as I can and then move on. So, and I think Dio's going to be helping me with that, actually.
Hope so. Hope so. It's gonna be fun.
Because we were talking about doing, well, I won't spoil that. I'll let those guides come out when those guides come out. So anyway, let's move on to E3. So we decided that we were going to start and we were going to go through the best or the worst presentations and work our way up to the best presentations because I wanted to end on a high note. So I figured go from worst to best is the best way we could possibly do that. So, and it's probably going to be no surprise who we say had the worst presentation at
Nintendo.
E3.
Nintendo.
It was not Nintendo. I told you that. Nintendo had a good presentation for the most part.
We're gonna start with Bethesda, right?
So we are going to be we're going to start with Square Enix, which is surprising because I'm a huge Square Enix fan. You're a huge Square Enix fan.
I'm a fanboy. Loved it since I was like 12 years old playing Final Fantasy IV. I rented a Super Nintendo from the old video stores. Remember you could do that?
Yeah.
Way back in the day? You had to put down a deposit for the cost of the console, and then you got to rent, and then you could rent whatever games. And I remember doing that. And it was, oh my god!
Yeah, those were the days.
Those were total nostalgia.
So, but yeah, so I mean, I was really surprised because I mean we have such high expectations from Square Enix, and then they just kind of like their E3 just kind of fell flat. I mean,
FanFest. They were riding the curtails of FanFest, and I mean, how do you follow that? You know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's E3. I mean, they could have done something more than give us 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy gameplay. In my opinion, anyway.
You know, it's just one of those games that it's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. If you're a Guardian of the Galaxy fan, you're going to love it. I think you will like it. It looks like it's got a cool little comic story arc kind of thing. So the gameplay looks. I'm undecided. I would want to see more gameplay, but I'd
Yeah,
like it myself. But
I was never a Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I watched the first movie, but other than that, I just like I'm not really a big superhero movie fan, so it's kind of like it is what it is. And I mean, the only comics I ever read were X-Men, and then this gonna take us back, Tank Girl.
Kid Girl,
Tank Girl's awesome, and the movie from the '90s starring Lori Petty it still holds up. It's
it
still an
does.
amazing movie.
It's a cult classic.
Yes, I love it. If you're watching and you've not seen Tank Girl, I don't look up. I'm not sure which streaming service it's on, but it's got to be on somewhere. Just look it up and watch that movie because it's ridiculous and good and funny and
It's amazing.
yeah,
Do yourself a favor.
exactly. It's absolutely great. So, but yeah, so no, I was like overall with the Square Enix presentation, it was just very underwhelming, very rushed. It looked very much. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar company, and it looked like something that like an intern threw together.
I'll be the first one because I'm such a fanboy. I'll make excuses for them. COVID slowed down a lot of their game production. Let's just make an excuse.
Yeah, but the other companies, they had a lot better presentations, and I will not use COVID as an excuse for this. They had a year to prepare for this.
See what happens when like they don't involve Yoshida into every single thing they do.
Yeah, that poor man.
He's in everything.
I know. He has his hands in everything, and it's just kind of like, oh my goodness. I was really excited though that they announced the Pixel remaster. I was very excited to hear that because that just looks like it's going to be. So I'm a huge fan of the Final Fantasies 1 through 6. So especially 1, 4, 5, and 6. So I cannot wait to play those games again, especially on my PC since I'm not really a console gamer. So
Hey, nostalgia. That's all those games. That's what they are. They're selling nostalgia, and I mean, I'll go for it.
yeah, but some of them are more than nostalgia. Like Final Fantasy 6 is an amazing game. Like
By itself, absolutely, absolutely. Like if you've never played Final Fantasy VI, like the characters are great. For its time, it was way ahead of its time, in my opinion, for JRPG.
Yeah.
It was the defining JRPG when it came out.
Yeah, it was massive and it was great and I loved it and I still love it. I still think Kefka is the best villain. So,
Absolutely.
but and also the only thing that worries me about it is the fact that it is going to be on mobile and on Steam. And last time they did that, the number one, the graphics were horrible, but they already have gone on the defense and said that the graphics are going to be much better. They're not going to be whatever crap they gave us last time. But the last iteration, which was a mobile port onto PC, that they didn't bother to change the menu items. So like the menus were huge. Like the attack button would be like a quarter of the screen because it was like that on the mobile version, and they didn't fix it for the PC version.
And they just copy and pasted.
Yeah. So it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Just give us regular. Now, if they do want to adapt the artwork, I would be totally cool with them taking it like they did with if they want to make just like a 1-for-1, I'm fine with that. But if they want to do something updated, like what they did with Final Fantasy 1 when they brought it to the PSP was amazing. So I thought that was really, really good. So, do you have any thoughts?
Other than just, I'm excited. I'm excited to see like just them get re-released. I'd buy like I've had Final Fantasy V on the PlayStation. I've had it on my mobile phone. I've had it like on several different consoles, and I'll probably buy it again
Yeah.
for nostalgia.
I'll buy it up and buy it up and buy it up and buy it up till I can't buy it anymore, really, because that's
Yeah.
just yeah. And then the other thing we have to talk about is chaos. Chaos.
I have my opinions about this because I was a huge Mobius Final Fantasy fan. Like I love Mobius Final Fantasy. If you never played Mobius Final Fantasy, it was a mobile game. It was super grindy. You did a lot of stuff on auto battle. The jobs were really unique. They had very unique names. The soundtrack was great. The characters were likable. I wouldn't say they were the most amazing characters, or they had some good character development, shockingly. But they were pretty unique characters. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, so guess we're not going to follow Mobius. So Mobius Final Fantasy was like a reimagined Final Fantasy 1. So now that I know that they're just doing that. Now, we've just seen a trailer. We don't really know what the game is really encompassing, but
Yeah, but they brought Final Fantasy Bros in instead of like the Warriors of Light, and it's just kind of like
they did not leave in question who we were going to fight.
no, definitely not. But I saw that, and like the moment they started panning on it, I was like, wait a minute, the bats, like everything. I'm like, this seems really reminiscent of the first temple in Final Fantasy One.
But I think Final Fantasy 1, if you follow the game, I don't care about spoilers. Like, it's been out for
Like,
almost 40 years. So, sorry. But, you play first Final Fantasy 1, the very first thing you do is go fight Garland. So, and then after you fight Garland, you go and you do the rest of the, defeat the four fiends and collect all the crystals and do all the other stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see a new design for the four fiends, because I'm sure they're going to do that. I'm looking forward to the combat system. Looked pretty cool. It was very 15 reminiscent, so hopefully like they just improved on what they started in 15. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So I'm gonna call you out here for a second. Can you mute your Discord because you keep beeping?
Oh, yes.
I tried to send you a message on Facebook a few minutes ago too. It's just like beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
So don't mean to call you out on here, but it's just like
There we go.
So,
No, you're good. You're good.
So yeah, so like with me with the Final Fantasy, like with this whole thing going on, it's just like I loved the style of the artwork of the temple on the inside and stuff like that, but it's just the three protagonists, or what I assume are the protagonists. Just I'm like, no. And then also they kept ripping the mouths open on everything. And everything, and I just like the whole thing. I was just kind of like, you expect so much more from Square Enix than whatever that was, especially if they're going to do something with Final Fantasy 1. So it's just like, yeah.
I agree. I very much agree. We're just gonna have to see. Like we're just gonna have to see. What's going on with it. I'm just going through and muting everything because I don't know what is. I apologize. I don't know what is.
See, I'm just not that popular on Discord right now, so no one ever messages me.
I play a lot of games. I have a lot of different Discords.
Although, I may have more going on Discord soon because I'm going to be reopening something, but that announcement's coming here in a couple weeks. So, But if you're on Sargatanis and you follow me on YouTube or Twitter or something like that, you might be a little bit happy about it. I don't know. So,
we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, it's a mystery. No one knows what I'm speaking of.
Jinkies.
But yeah, just the and then there was really nothing really else of too much interest when it comes to the Square Enix. It just felt rushed, like a bunch of stuff dropped out and they just needed to fill airtime, and the stuff that could have been very interesting, like the Pixel remaster, they just didn't do anything with. So it was a letdown when it came to the Square Enix presentation for me.
I agree.
So the next one though was Nintendo, which I know you didn't like, but I was very happy with it. Well, I was happy with parts of it.
Yeah, I was happy with parts of it. Breath of the Wild 2, 100% expected. Loved everything I saw. Can't wait for it.
Yeah. So I must say I didn't watch the entire Nintendo presentation too closely. I actually had Fallout 76 going on my other screen while I was watching it, just because a lot of the Nintendo games just don't really do much for me anymore.
If you're a Switch player, like I am, I love my Switch. There's a lot of games that they announced that I was really looking forward to. I was actually very surprised about Metroid.
Yes.
That was the shocker for me, and I said, "Wow!"
Yeah.
And Metroid, finally, neglected child.
I'm a Switch player too, but I think a lot of the just the Nintendo games in general, they have that very much childlike kawaii aesthetic and everything like that. And I know it's all about the game, it's not about the graphics, but sometimes the graphics could be a total turnoff to the game. And then it's just like just like a way a lot of the games on the Switch and Nintendo have been playing, like even in the last generation, it just didn't catch me. So I only paid partial attention to the announcements, and it like nothing like drew me in except for Metroid and Breath of the Wild. So, but I must say with Metroid, part of me got really excited, and then my heart sank for a moment because I was expecting Metroid Prime 4, and they were like, "Ooh, new Metroid," and I like immediately I sat up at my desk, and I was just like, "Oh, what's gonna happen here?" And then they showed this 2D scroll, and I was like, "Oh man,"
Yeah.
Because I was totally expecting that first person shooter Metroid. But knowing that's still coming, I can totally get behind the side-scrolling Metroid, because that is,
Classic.
yeah. I mean, I played Metroid. I played Super Metroid. I played the ones on. I played Fusion, which is the one that's the sequel to. And then I played a couple. I've never really owned a lot of handhelds, so I didn't play them all. But yeah, I can get behind it just because I still know that first-person shooter's coming. So if this would have been just if they would have said, "This is it though, this is all we're doing," then I'd have been kind of like, "Oh." So, but it looked really, really nice and slick. And everything from what I read so far says that Samus can like aim her weapon, whatever direction. She has this new grip weapon that she can cling to walls, and she could still aim her weapon wherever, and it's supposed to be like very, very much the nostalgia feel, but also very much like something new.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Yeah. And then the Breath of the Wild. I mean, come on. I mean, we're all looking forward to Breath of the Wild too.
It took me forever to actually beat it, because much like other open world games that I've played, like Fallout and Skyrim, it took me forever to actually get through the storyline. I just wanted to do all the side stuff. So yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to that.
Yeah, the first time I played it through, I did story, and I played it through, and I was like, okay. And then second time I played it through, and I've played it through 4 times total already. But the second time I played it through, I was like, I'm just going to take my time and putz around the world and just kind of see things, explore. I also follow a couple other YouTubers that very much go on Zelda theory, Um, like Zeltic is one that I follow, and then oh, see, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I can't really remember. But there's some really good Hyrule theorists out there.
Okay, so for Breath of the Wild 2, I would really like us to actually play Zelda. I mean, like story wise, like she was a very pivotal player off screen. She held off Ganon for like the whole time.
Yeah.
You were doing whatever, and she. So like, I think it would be a disservice to the character to not incorporate playing her in some way or form. So yeah, that's something I really hope that is in there. I mean, playing as Link is cool, but she's in the name.
Yeah. I've heard some people say that, since when we see the main protagonist like in the sky, we never see them from the front. So I know there's been a lot of speculation that that might be Zelda. But like what we were talking about the other day, I'm not quite sure. Just because in the original scene you see her in, she has that sash, which means like her chest would be exposed because there's no strap or anything that goes around either. It's just plain back on one side. And I was just like, there's no way Nintendo is going to in any way sexualize Zelda. So
Right.
like even having like something super really skimpy or something just doesn't seem like something that they would do. So since half that person's chest is exposed, I'm just gonna say it's probably Link again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, but it would be cool to play as Zelda in some fashion.
Yeah,
So
even if it was like multiplayer and like the second player was Zelda,
yeah,
like, that was really unique.
I'm really wondering what's going on with the arm, because so you see that arm that was clutching what we suspect to be Ganondorf. You see it clutching Link's hand when he's falling into the pit where Zelda falls into, and then and then you see his arm like get incorporated with that stuff and kind of become what looks like that hand. And that hand, I know people are talking about, it's very Sheikah inspired, either the Sheikah or the Zonai is what they are really talking about with it. But to me that's really reminiscent. Just the pattern on his arm is really reminiscent of Twilight Princess to me.
I would love to see them bring in some elements from Twilight Princess. That would be pretty cool.
And I'm wondering too if the sky. I wonder if that's like because like in Skyward Sword, you had the cloud barrier and they broke the cloud barrier, and then you had Skyloft. So I'm wondering if that's just this version of Skyloft. So, but it's covered in Zonai art, like it's very Zonai inspired. So it's gonna be interesting to see, especially since there's so many Zonai runes like in Hyrule themselves. So it's gonna be very interesting to see like what they do. I'm just so excited for this game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know I'm gonna put hundreds of hours into it.
Yeah, way too many hours into it because I've already done that in Breath of the Wild, and I know I'm gonna do that again. I'm just gonna have to carve out a week of just me sitting on my couch.
It made me want to like get Breath of the Wild back out and start playing, and just to get caught up on the lore and just like refresh my memory on all the characters and kind of and all that, because it's been about a year since I've actually touched the game.
Yeah, I actually started it again about 3 weeks ago, just out of boredom. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play Zelda again, and yeah, it still holds up.
Yeah,
like I still use it's.
Those graphics are just kind of like timeless graphics, because Nintendo, like you already said, like Nintendo isn't necessarily about the graphics, more about the gameplay. So some games just hold up for years.
Yeah, and the gameplay in that's just, I mean, the gameplay is just masterfully done. It's just like there's very few things I could say where I don't like that. And I think the only thing I can really say I don't like about Breath of the Wild is that it rains all the time. And I'm trying to climb this cliff and it rains. And I'm just like, how much rain can fall? It's like, I just want to climb this cliff, man. It's like, so, but that's about the only complaint I have. Other than that, yeah, to me, that's near perfect. So, that rain just drives me nuts.
You know, when climbing up cliffs is an option, but you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah. So
that's when you magnetize something and launch yourself into the sky.
I have not been able to perfect that. It's like I keep like falling off of it, or I just keep overshooting, or just hitting a cliff wall or something.
That's part of the fun.
I can never just get that right. So, but that climbing just adds so much to the game, and I hope that they don't neglect that in the sequel. So, which I don't think they would, but yeah.
No, they'll probably have some like other mechanics that'll be just as fun, hopefully.
Yeah, I know the climbing too inspired the climbing aspect in that new game coming out, Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen, the new MMO. So I'm really hoping that. Yeah, shout out to Pantheon, by the way. I haven't talked about them in a long time, but I really hope that they do that as well as they did in Zelda. But I know that there's a lot of Zelda fans on that team, so anyway, I'm going off on another tangent. So.
That's all right. It's all right.
So the next presentation, which I was a huge fan of, I'm not sure about you, was the Ubisoft.
Couple things. Yeah, Ubisoft, I'm like hit and miss.
So, I'm a huge. I know a lot of people are. Some people are on the fence about Ubisoft, but I'm a fan of a lot of their games. So it's like, I don't really have a lot of the problems with them that some people have. So I'm just.
Their games just like my style of game. I like MMO grindy kind of games, and you know, like just like in the presentation, like nothing really draws me, but doesn't necessarily mean I don't like the game. It just doesn't draw me because I like certain types of games.
Yeah, and see, where me, it's like I really love my grindy MMOs, but I also really like Far Cry. You know, stuff like Far Cry, stuff like Assassin's Creed. I can lose myself in those games. Far Cry 3, and I was a huge fan of, and so same with Far Cry 5. It's just being able to wander around the world and, you know, do all this stuff. I'm a real big fan of it. But one thing that was on the Ubisoft presentation that really intrigued me was Rocksmith.
Rocksmith.
Yeah, did you watch that?
You know, I did not. I actually did not.
Okay.
I watched quite a few others, but yeah.
So apparently with Rocksmith, what it is you can plug an electric guitar into it, or if you have an acoustic, you can maybe use your phone or something like that. But it teaches you how to play guitar. Like it will like show you like the chords you need to press and like how hard you need to press them. You have songs that you can play at any speed, and it will listen to you as you play it and then tell you how you're doing, kind of like an actual guitar teacher would. And
what you're saying is that I could learn how to play guitar with that game, and it give me every justifiable reason to go buy that $3,500 Fender.
There you go. Yeah, it's supposed to teach you how.
For $3,500, I could be an amateur, but look good doing it.
I never thought of that, but yeah, that yeah. If only I could afford that.
I've wasted more money on other things.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I waste money on a lot of things.
Hey, if you enjoy it, it's not a waste.
Yeah. But you know, so I thought that was really interesting. Especially as someone who is not musical whatsoever. I mean, when I was a kid, I really wanted to play piano, either piano, violin, or cello. I was just dead set. I wanted to play one of them, but my mom was like, no instruments, not having it. So ever since then, I've been still wanting to learn an instrument and to play. So when I saw that, I'm just like, wow, that's really interesting. And I may look into that a little bit stronger if I could learn to play guitar. Even though guitar is not one of my things I really want to know how to play, it's still, something musical that I could do as a completely non-musical person. So,
Be fun.
yeah. The other thing they brought up was the Assassin's Creed Valhalla and how they are continuing with it with, I think, another year. I'm not sure if they said 1 or 2. I can't remember. But they have.
That game has been amazing. Everything in that game has been amazing.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Assassin's Creed, to begin with. But yeah, Valhalla's been just crazy fun.
Again, that's a game I haven't played. I just watch people play it on like Twitch or YouTube. The game, like, I love the gameplay. I love what I see. I'm terrible at those games. I'm awful at those games. Like being like a stealth assassin, like I'm awful. But I love watching people play.
Yeah.
I also love the mechanics of the game. I mean, but it's the same thing like in all Assassin's Creed. But I just love the artwork and the theme.
Yeah, being someone who plays, like, I play stealth characters, even like they can design something for completely like run in screaming and like like going nuts, and I'll still try to do it in stealth. And yeah, for me that game is just
it's still stealth if no one survives.
Yeah. So no, I got Valhalla when it first came out. And I was just like, immediately, I was just like, I'm like, I totally dig this.
Well, you're a big fan of Norse mythology too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I also am Norse.
Right. So that game coming out, like, you were excited anyway.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I am. I mean, I know the whole Norse thing is kind of like really trendy now. So seeing something, I mean, I know they want to rely more on Norse mythology, which is vastly and incredibly misunderstood. Take some college classes on it, and you're like, wow, can't believe how misunderstood this is. But like how, the representation in it and stuff like that, I thought was really fun and really good, and just I mean, it's not completely historically accurate, but
it's thematically Norse.
Yeah, and I can have a big old beard in it, and I love games that let me have a big old beard. That's one thing that pisses me off about Final Fantasy 14. I want a beard. It's like, come on, even some stubble.
Hey, there was that cosmetic.
Oh yeah, the Santa beard that all the Lalafell wear. Yeah. It's just like, I also have a female Elysian right now. I'm not sure if I
give her a beard.
I only changed to a female Elysian because I was just like, male glamour sucks in this game. So for the most part. Yeah. Well, they have a lot better stuff coming out now, but yeah.
They're making more things unisex.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would just the big beard, especially because they have like the braided and like the clamps and stuff. And my beard, I trimmed my beard not long ago, but it was getting long enough where I could actually like take it and put it in like a big old braid down. But then I thought, nah, that's not a look for me. So the other thing for the Ubisoft was, of course, because I'm a huge Far Cry fan, was the Far Cry 6 and all the stuff we learned from that.
That was exciting. That was an exciting trailer.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting, especially since we're going into the city with it, which it's always like, I mean, you never get into like a big city. It's always like small little hamlets and stuff. So that's going to be interesting and new. All the animal companions, the little dog, the rooster, the gator. There's so much fun that's going to happen with that. And then with the backpack, I was really impressed by like everything I saw with that. And the DLC that's coming out for it, where you get to play as Voss, Pagan, and Joseph Seed. I mean, that just really thrilled me. So,
yeah, it got me kind of excited. I was thinking about getting into it. I'm not too big on the Far Cry series, but I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I gotta give it a chance. Maybe I'd check it out.
Yeah. You should try Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 5. Those are two you should try out. I actually have a review on my channel for Far Cry 5 that I did back when it was brand new. But yeah,
I'll check it.
I like
I will have to look at your library and check it out.
Yeah, it's good. It's just I like the way that they allow you to handle things so different, because you can do stealth. You can do just like run in and shoot them up. And then this one, it seems like they even added more stuff to it, like where you can like you put your gun away, and that's supposed to like keep attention off of you. And then also like you're gonna be able to like get papers and like sneak into cities by like not bribing guards, but like by fooling them or something somehow. And it's just it looks like it's gonna open up a lot of different like paths of strategy and different ways to take things out. And the graphics, of course, look phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
The only thing with it is, and I wish more games did this, like everything, like they always only show the player character as male or female. It's like when you have the choice between the two, they never show you both. They always just stick with one. So in everything we've seen with Far Cry 6 so far has been the female version. And I'd really like to see more of the male. It was just like in other games, it's like, show us both. So we kind of like get like more of an idea of the aesthetic and the voice acting and everything like that. Because, I mean, I'll play either one. I don't really care. But, sometimes the voices are good or, anyway, that's just me.
Hey, I mean, you're a fan of the game. It was an exciting trailer. It was something like really to look forward to. They're really trying to do something different with the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more third person with it too, because the games are almost all first person. So that having that third person in there is going to be different and good. Because I mean, whenever I play something, like when I play Fallout and stuff, I'm constantly toggling between first and third person. So
yeah,
that's going to be nice. But yeah, those DLCs where you get to play as so excited for that. So, any other thoughts on that?
No, not really. Like I said, Ubisoft isn't something I get excited about. The games that they talked about isn't something that I personally get excited about, even though I can appreciate the fandom for those games. It's just not something for me.
Yeah, for me, I'm like,
But fanboy.
So the last thing then we got to talk about is the Bethesda, because I think Bethesda had probably the best presentation in E3.
They did. They absolutely did.
So, Bethesda Xbox. It wasn't just Bethesda. It was a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Since they're linked together now. And opening up with Starfield, I think was a good choice.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. I am too, which surprises me because I'm not really a sci-fi guy. So I don't really like the whole space thing.
Sci-fi Skyrim.
Yeah. But I still see that and I'm like, the only thing that concerns me with Starfield is I'm really horrible at space combat. So I'm like, I really hope there's not much of me flying around in a ship with space combat, because like with like No Man's Sky, I like started No Man's Sky and it was really great and I was having so much fun just on that little starter world, and then we had to fly into space and we had to do some space combat. It's like the first thing you do as soon as you leave. And I was my my spaceship was just rolling in circles and like not doing anything. So it's just kind of like I was like, man. And I kind of gave up on No Man's Sky after that point because I went through it a couple times. I couldn't get my control of my ship. So yeah, I mean, I'm not good. I'm not good with vehicles in a lot of games. Like in Far Cry, I'm really horrible when it comes to flying a plane, and stuff like that. So,
well, half the fun of Mass Effect was just running into mountains and toppling your vehicle.
Yeah, as long as there's not a lot of that, I was like the game's just going to be beautiful, and I really hope that I can find a 3080 Ti graphics card before that comes out.
Good luck.
Because I want to run that on high specs.
Although I will say you probably have a higher chance of getting that than a PS5.
Maybe. I don't know. I actually still got to go up to Micro Center and see if they have any here because you never know. But yeah.
Starfield, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see more of it. I can't wait to see. It looks like a open worlds. So
yeah.
It's a sci-fi game. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know Todd Howard gave an interview after E3 where he spilled a lot of Starfield information, and I was just going through it, and I was like, oh, this game sounds like it's going to be like so much better.
Now, are they going to follow the typical Bethesda thing where a game gets released, it's got all kinds of bugs, and then they say, "All right, fans, mod it." Fix it for us.
I hope not. They have Xbox money now. They better not give us another game like that.
But they can make so much money out of the Creation Club.
Yeah.
So I see that happening. I definitely see that happening.
But the thing is, though, their mods are limitless. So like having releasing a broken game just to sell the mod to fix it is very EA. So it's like I couldn't really see Bethesda doing that because the fixed mods are always free, and also this is a new IP, and it really sounds like they're trying to get away from that. We release broken games, sort of thing. So fingers crossed, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I booted it up and I had a horse standing on top of my spaceship. Put it that way.
But,
Or it immediately comes as Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
Because you know that mod is coming.
Yes.
So, but yeah. Yeah, and did you notice too? So someone, speaking of Starfield, said that they think that the Starfield trailer told us where Elder Scrolls 6 is taking place.
Oh my God! Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I seen that. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Because the scratch on the side of the console looks like Hammerfell. I think it was like Hammerfell and Red Rock or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, it was Hammerfell. That's the working theory. That's what it's supposed to be. But we'll see. We will see. But I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was just like, God, I'm like, who, like, I was watching for details, but I was just like, wow, they were really watching for details. So yeah, I thought that was really funny. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get any more information on Elder Scrolls 6, but I think they wanted to kind of focus on Starfield when it comes to the big IPs like that.
We won't see Elder Scrolls 6 for years.
I know that hurts me.
It does. And they're gonna milk that. They're absolutely gonna milk that.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But strangely, I have no. I'm such a huge Elder Scrolls fan, but the whole Elder Scrolls Online, like they had a little presentation for that too. Elder Scrolls Online does nothing for me. I play that every once in a while, and it's just
it's fun. It's fun. I will say it's fun. It's got its charm to it, but it has been building over the years, and it continuously gets better over time.
yeah. I haven't played this expansion, but I played the last one, and it just seems like once you get through the story, there's just really nothing else to do.
The
So
big lure I see in the game, and one of the things that I love about it is that you can build your character however you want. You have it's really the builds are really centered around what kind of set gears you're getting and how you're building your abilities to interact with those different sets. You don't really there's not really a min max meta. It's just what are you trying to do? What is your build? What are you trying to do with it? And then you just you just improve on that.
yeah,
That's pretty much. But I like that. It gives a uniqueness to the combat. It kind of what I like about that is it takes away from the Trinity roles. Like you still have your tank, healer, DPS, but everything kind of gets muddled. So you have your tank that's also the main healer. You have your DPS that's also they can take more hits. They're not a squishy mage, so I like that kind of stuff where you just can have this unique gameplay and play however you want. So that to me is what it really is a good draw to ESO.
yeah. For me, I played through, and then I was like, eh. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of choices when it comes to combat, but what am I gonna fight? There's like you get done with the story, and it's like, okay.
It's a fun grind if you're willing to grind. The story's pretty good. Like the zone stories are not too bad.
Yeah, they're really short though.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm completely spoiled by Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy in general. But like the last one that took place in Skyrim, I don't even remember the name of it. I was playing and it was kind of like build up, and I was like, oh, it's over. I was like, really? That's it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, no game is really going to have the story that a Final Fantasy does because that's iconic to that. But there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of background stuff. So yeah, you have the main story, but then you have the character of the zone, and you have all this extra stuff that goes into it. Extra just characters. You get a good feel for the city, the character, how the citizens live.
So we'll just write ESO down as a future topic.
Yeah, let's do that. It's a good subject. It's a very good subject
that we could talk about because
we do.
So we can do that. Yeah. The other one, another thing from the Bethesda I was really excited about was the Stalker 2. I thought looked really, and the whole reason I never played Stalker 1, but the whole reason Stalker 2 looked really good to me was because I'm currently playing a game. It's an indie game, and it's called Chernobylite, and that seems very much like Stalker 2. And Chernobylite has been an amazing experience so far.
To me, Stalker 2 really feels like the thematically very Fallout. Maybe that's just me, but nuclear radiation, mutants. That's kind of what I got out of it. But it looks like it has a pretty neat story.
Yeah, and the gameplay looks really fun with it too. So
yeah, they showed a couple of creatures, so I'll play it. I like games like that.
Yeah, me too. I'm just it just seems fun. And like I said, the whole Chernobylite thing, because I mean they just seem so similar, and it's like I'm kind of wondering because Chernobylite is a small indie game, and I'm wondering if a studio is going to take the same concept and make a game as good as this small group did. So I know I sent you the trailer to Chernobylite. Did you ever watch it?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
It is so good. If you're watching this video, you need to check out Chernobylite. Just just do it. You'll thank me later. So I was also really excited. And this is more of a me thing because I know the game's not too popular, but I was really excited about what we saw for Fallout 76 because I'm a huge 76 player.
You're talking me into playing it. You are talking me into playing it.
It's actually not bad. I mean, it was a total piece of garbage when it released, but once Wastelanders came about, it got so much better. It's not nearly as buggy as it was. I mean, you still got bugs, but it's not nearly as buggy as it was before. And I mean, the only complaint I really have about Fallout 76 right now is the lack of stuff to do. So the fact that they're adding more stuff. And also, they also said they have a 5-year plan. So the game has like 5 years already planned out for it. So we know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. But the conclusion to the Brotherhood of Steel is coming up. They showed that. That's been a okay storyline. I mean, it's Brotherhood of Steel, so it's still Brotherhood of Steel, which is just kind of getting old at this point.
It's Steel Rain, isn't it? Isn't that the next?
Steel Rain, I think, was the first one, and then. Or no, maybe I don't know. It's the second half of the Brotherhood, and the first one was Steel something. Steel Dawn. Okay. I think Steel Dawn was the first one, and then Steel Rain is this one. But it wasn't bad. I mean, and the storytelling with it hasn't been bad. And then they teased us with this new piece of content that's coming out called Expeditions, where we just kind of like saw a little trailer for it, and I really got high hopes for Expeditions. Because it was something we were supposed to get months ago that they scrapped, and they decided that they want to do something so much bigger and better with it. But yeah, I am excited because I have a great time in Fallout 76, and I would generally encourage other people to play it and to give it a shot.
I'm definitely curious. I'm definitely like, I just want to watch some more people playing it on Twitch before I make a decision.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really the one thing about Fallout 76 is it does have a really awesome community. I mean, you do have a few jerks here and there, but most of the time, like if you start the game and you go onto a public server, people are going to see you running around. Generally, someone's going to come up and they're going to drop stim packs, ammo, like all this stuff. There's so many people. They're like really encouraging to new players, and they they'll just give you stuff to get you started. I do it all the time too. Like I just ran up. There was a second level player I think it was yesterday, and I ran up and I dropped like 40 stim packs and some ammo, and then I just emoted at them like, "Here's a gift." So it happens all the time. So the community's really good. The gameplay, like I said, worlds better than when it was released. So it's actually a Fallout game now. So,
right.
So
well, you think, like ESO went through that same kind of change. When it first came out, it wasn't that great, and then they made once it became the Tamriel Unlimited, that game just took off, and it's just been building ever since.
Yeah.
So Fallout 76, I'm assuming that they're actually following the same method that ESO did. That's what I hope, at least.
Yeah, I know they're constantly going through fixing bugs. The one thing I really like is they actually pay attention to the community. Like, we talk on Reddit, and the developers actually like talk to you on Reddit and stuff like that, and be like, "Oh, okay," and they'll answer questions and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool.
I love when games do that. I just recently got into, and this is a little off subject, but I recently got into Warframe, and the devs are very much into like listening to the players. There's a lot of bugs in that game and everything, but at least the devs actually listen to their players. I appreciate when MMOs really listen to their players, see what their players like and don't like, and then just change their game based on their fans.
Yeah.
And that to me makes just like a way better MMO experience. When people play an MMO, that's their whole second life. That's their escape out of this reality. And when
You ain't just whistling Dixie there.
When you don't listen to the fans, you just make somebody's life just, you know.
When you don't listen to the fan, you get Final Fantasy 14 version 1.
You get the current version of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, there's another example. I haven't played World of Warcraft, but I've heard so much, especially lately. I follow Belluar, and even though I don't play 14, even though I don't play WoW, I still watch Belluar. I don't know why, but it's just like it's almost like I like hearing some of the stuff that's going on in other games, and it's just I've been hearing a lot about
Blizzard's just not paying attention to their fans,
but like
we're
what
we are deviating.
Yeah, very much so. Like with 14 too, because I was a beta tester for the first version of that, and they didn't listen to a single word that we said when it came to the beta testing. It's like, you have to listen, because you don't listen. That's when you keep stuff like the fatigue system, which was like, why?
They were trying to make it into another Final Fantasy 11 and just implement all of these unnecessary things that just make the whole experience just a turnoff.
Yeah, that's so. What did you play version 1?
No.
Okay.
I had a couple of friends that played it. I've seen some gameplay from it, but yeah, I've never actually played it myself.
Okay. Yeah. It was the only reason I beta tested it. I stayed with it for like a month after not a full month after release. It was like right at release when I saw that nothing really had changed. I decided I was done with it. Then Yoshida said, "Oh, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna fix it," and I stuck with it. I actually have. I know you can't see me because you can't see the camera, but I have the Final Fantasy 14 first version collector's set here. So
you showed that to me when I visited.
Yes, it's pretty awesome.
So,
and I ordered the collector's edition of Endwalker because I want that statue.
So I know you didn't really mention it too much, but Redfall.
I didn't really look at Redfall too much.
So it's a game about vampires. It is on Xbox. It's actually it looks like it might be pretty good.
Oh, wait a minute! I remember that trailer
with vampires, and you had they were all they all had different powers, and
yeah. Is that Xbox exclusive or is that coming to PC?
Yes. It looked, if I remember right in the trailer, it looked like it was just Xbox. That doesn't necessarily mean it can't come to PC.
Yeah, well, knowing Xbox too, they'll bring it to PC Microsoft Xbox. So I don't generally even bother to buy consoles anymore. So I'm always just like, is it coming out on PC? Can I please play it on PC?
Yes.
So yeah, no, I looked at that and I was just kind of like, and it was probably because they said it was a console exclusive. I didn't pay much attention to it, but yeah.
It looks like a fun game. I definitely want to try it out. I'm just kind of curious, what the gameplay is. It's just a trailer to give you some backstory into the game. So I'm very curious what the gameplay experience actually is.
Yeah. Another one one thing I'm very intrigued about is Outer Worlds 2.
Oh my God, that trailer killed me. I died. It was. I was watching it and I was thinking, did I click on somebody else's YouTube channel? Am I not watching the right? And I had to stop and start it a few times just to make sure I was actually watching the actual trailer. That trailer was amazing. I loved it.
I was sitting there and I'm just like, what's going on? What are they doing? And then all of a sudden when it said Outer Worlds, I was like, oh yeah, there we go. Figures that totally fits Outer Worlds. I really liked I thought the first one, it took a while to pick up, but once it picked up, I thought I had fun with it. And I liked the DLC that came out for it too. So yeah, I was like, hey, I'm totally down for another Outer Worlds, especially if they add a little bit more to it. So yeah, that's cool. I know you want to talk about Halo.
A little bit, you know, I watched the trailer and it really kind of feels like they're really trying to grab back on. They're trying to really reach for some old Halo nostalgia. So, you know, I wasn't a big Halo fan, but you know, I have a lot of friends that are big Halo fans, and looking at that trailer really reminded me of kind of some of the old LAN parties and how you know everyone used to get together and play. So I'm really like looking forward to seeing how really seeing how it's all implemented. You know, of course, there's a story that goes along with Halo. The story's kind of neat, but the gameplay looks pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing like what happens out of it. I would love to see a nice Halo revival.
I've never played Halo, so I was just like, no idea. All it's like I've seen Master Chief and like memes and stuff, and I'm like, okay, but I've never played it, so I don't really have an opinion. So
It's an FPS.
and then Boulder's Gate you want to talk about too?
Yeah, so you know, it looks like a four-player hack and slash, kind of fun, kind of grindy. Um, I have high expectations, but again, we'll see. A lot of times those games come out and they're good for about an hour or two for me, and then I just get bored. Sometimes they're just, sometimes they're like loot box, little loot boxy. So I didn't see too much with that game. So it had some nice little nostalgia for the Forgotten Realms D&D setting. So, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Kind of looking forward to seeing some more gameplay for it.
I played one of them back on, I think it was PS2, but I can't remember which one it was. All I know is that at the end, as soon as you finished it, you were able to play through the campaign again as Drist.
Yes.
So, but
And it looks like Drist is one of the. There's four characters you can play as, and Drist is one of the four that you can play as.
see, I'd have been totally down if I could have played like I'm a huge Forgotten Realms person because I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since primary school, and I used to read the Forgotten Realms books like crazy. So, but like I think it'd be fun to play like Kelvin Blackstaff or or someone like that. But I'm not sure if he's actually one of the playable characters in there. Or I know like Kelvin Blackstaff, Storm Silverwind. I really liked her. Elminster. I mean, who doesn't like Elminster? You know, so that
Yeah.
like yeah. So I'm like, yeah, playing some of those other characters would have been really great. So
Yeah. So you know, I'm looking forward to it. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game. It's like hack and slash. It's got some familiar. You know, themes to it. If you're into Dark Alliance, so I'm just looking forward to it.
the last game that we have to talk about that I actually looked at my screen and kind of was like, oh, what? No, 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 yeah. Oh. I was so excited. A Plague's Tale 2. Now, I know you haven't played A Plague's Tale,
No,
but
no, I haven't.
that game is a masterpiece. Like, I hate throwing around that word because so many people throw around that word. But man, that game is. I will fanboy like crazy out about that game. I did a whole video on it. I have it like on my list. I love it. Absolutely love it. And the fact that they're bringing out a second one, you could tell from the trailer that it's going to continue the story and it's going to kind of continue some of this. I am just. I was ecstatic. It was like one of the few things that actually made me scream at my screen, where I just had a pure, unadulterated excitement for it.
You know, the graphics for it, or I mean, just a little intro. It's very ominous. I don't know the game, so like seeing the trailer, I don't really, you know, get it, and I know it's a sequel, so You
Yeah.
know, maybe I should play the first one just to kind of get an idea. I mean, you're excited about it, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Well, the first game, the game's not difficult. I'll say that it doesn't have a lot of difficulty to it. The game though, just the story behind the game is just so well done, and then you add to it the graphics, you add to it the music, you add to it the character. Like everything just makes this game better and better. It was one of those games when I played it. I bought it on Steam, and I had it sitting in my Steam list for so long, and then I downloaded to play it, and I turned it on, and it was like one of those games where you blink and it goes from noon to midnight. And just like they tell a good story, they build tension. Everything in it seems important. It feels important. It's the music. I just can't get over the music. It's sort of like the only other thing that had music that impressed me that much was Battlestar Galactica, which
okay,
whose music was so amazing. But the music itself feels so much like part of the atmosphere and almost feels like a character in and of itself. It's just like I cannot really say anything bad about this game, and the fact that there's a sequel coming out just and what irritates me is that I see like PC Gamer, and I see like all these news outlets, and no one's talking about it. And I'm like, seriously, how can you not talk about this game? This what? Talk about it. Everybody should play the first one, and I just I oh I get like so like I
passionate.
get yes when I talk about this game. It just I love it. I don't really know what else to say. It's just I highly recommend everybody play this game. It was like I said, it's not difficult. Don't go into it expecting you're going to get this huge challenge, but this world is going to suck you in, and is just going to it's going to give you all kinds of feels.
It's
So yeah. Even just talking about it, my heart just like my
well,
heart starts going.
I guess somebody's gonna get lost in that world.
Right now I'm lost. Right now I'm lost in Chernobylite. But if I ever do Plague's Tale again, so because I am going to start streaming because I'm coming up on 2,500. I'm coming up on 2,500 subscribers. So, and this is the first time I've actually said anything about it. But when I hit 2,500, I'm going to start streaming again. And that is one of the games that I will be streaming at some point because it's just it needs more attention. Just like yeah, there's a few games that like that I just feel they just need more attention.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I 100% agree.
so look forward to that if you watch my channel and you think that I will be starting to stream again. I have that Micah does stuff on Twitch, so because I used to stream years ago. I think I streamed I streamed when I knew you.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
but because I quit, so because the reason I shut down my free company when you were part of it was because I got too busy with school, and I just couldn't like manage. I just couldn't like lead a free company while I was also in the studio till like 2 a.m. and writing papers and having to defend papers and do all this, do all this work because I was so busy in school.
There's a lot to do. Too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. um, so then that's when I quit streaming too. But I really miss it and I want to get back into it. So yeah.
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 No, yeah.
So
Me too. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be starting Warframe on PC and then just kind of starting fresh and checking it out. Like it's got a bigger player base, so just got to go from there and see what I can do on it.
Yep. It's going to be fun. I know the first time I'll stream, I'll probably stream some 14 because a lot of people who watch my channel are here for the information I give out on 14. But then I'll start doing other stuff too. It's going to be fun. Anyway. We keep going off subject though,
You
but
know, that's just kind of what we do.
that's perfectly fine, I think.
Yeah.
So
Um,
the only other thing I wanted to mention about E3 was I thought the Xbox refrigerator was pretty funny.
that was amazing.
They totally ran with that meme and they're like, we'll do it. So
Yeah, actually, there's other games that have been revealed that weren't part of E3 that I would love to talk about. A couple that look really good.
like what?
Well, first of all, Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, no, that was part of E3.
Was it part of
Totally
E3?
forgot. Yeah, because that was the very, very first presentation on E3.
Okay, that's okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. I wasn't sure, and like, because you didn't bring it up, I was like, okay, well, then that game looks amazing, and I don't
Yeah,
know why we're talking about
I
it.
totally spaced it out. I don't know why, because I was like super excited for that. I even shared the trailer for that and stuff. Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, my first exposure to that was I watched Asmongold react to it, and then I watched the trailer without Asmongold commentary. The game looks amazing. It looks fun. It looks very unique. So I am looking forward to it.
Yes. I heard it's a Dark Souls sequel.
Yes.
I think they actually confirmed it's a Dark Souls sequel.
Yeah. So what's got me about that is I am very big into like lore, and Dark Souls has a really cool lore. It's a very different concept for everything, and I really really like it.
Now I haven't played Dark Souls, but the only reason that I've not played Dark Souls is because when I looked it up, from what I gathered from it, it was a multiplayer game, and it wasn't just a single player, campaign. And then everything I read on it said that it was so difficult to play, especially for new players, because the sheer amount of trolling prevented you
Yes.
from getting anywhere. And I was just
Yeah.
like, well, I don't want to spend money on a game that I can't get anywhere in because some dude won't let me learn how to play this game because
So
they just camp me.
there are people that will say like, "Oh my God, Dark Souls is the most difficult game ever," and that's true. But people play it for the challenge, and it's not an impossible game. It's far from an impossible game. It has its challenging aspects for sure, but it is a fun game.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm totally cool with difficulty, but I don't want, you know, like if it was a single player game and I could make sure that no one came into my server or into my game and just, like camped my body, just killed me every time I came to, then I would play it. But I just didn't want to spend the money on it just to have some 12-year-old like standing over me.
I want to say there's a single player mode. I want to say that it's not just strictly multiplayer.
So when the stuff I was reading on it, it made it sound like there's a single player mode, but that other people could still come in. So I don't know for sure. Someone in the comments correct me on, or like let me know for sure, because I wouldn't mind playing it. It's just I hear so much about it, and it looks so interesting, and I love hard, difficult games. But
I would definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Give it a chance.
yeah, that's on PC, I think.
Yeah, people do speed runs in the game. People do, like I've seen several people on Twitch speed run through the game. I've seen several people on Switch just creating challenges for themselves to play the game. So definitely check it out.
So that will be something. I'll put that on my list. I have so my, I'm one of those people that falls into like Steam sales. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy 50 games, and then it just kind of sits, and I never
Yep.
download anything.
Yep.
it's
Yep.
like, it's like, it's like I need to get another SSD too because I have a 1 gig, not 1 gig. I have a 100 gig or I have a terabyte SSD. Can't think. And yeah, it's just like it just fills up so quickly. So, especially since I had to transfer my 14 to my SSD. So which I don't know why I didn't do that before, but I didn't do it. Yeah, so fun stuff. But I think that's all we have for E3.
I think so.
So this was fun for the very first time we're doing it. I hope anybody who's still with us had fun, and you comment below. And like I said, we'll probably be doing this a little bit more often. I'm going to definitely keep up with all my guides and fun stuff, and everything through Endwalker, and I still have a lot coming out, but I thought this would be like a fun little thing to throw in there. And I know, Dio, you want to start doing stuff on your own, so this is a good introduction.
Yeah.
You'll get used to being in front of the camera, and you'll maybe meet some people.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we have. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, that's all I have about E3. There are other subjects that we can cover in other videos.
Oh yeah, we have a lot. So when we were doing a test run, where we were testing our cameras and our mics and everything, making sure everything was working, and we started talking. I kept going, we need to stop because this would be a great video on its own. We just need to stop. Like, we started talking about the Nier Automata 24-man raid in Final Fantasy 14, and I was like, stop right there. Like, we can't, this is a video, like, we
and that kind of stuff is fun. And yeah, there's lots of stuff that I'm a big lore person, so I love to talk about lore. I love to talk about, like, these writers make these amazing worlds, and then they add all this stuff to these worlds, and I love to talk about that.
Yeah, I tweeted out not long ago, and Dio's going to know this very well about me. I tweeted out this thing not long ago where it's like, this is the kind of person I am when it comes to people who talk about lore. And it was Adam from Adam Knows, or anyway, it was Adam something anyway, but it was like him going, actually. And Dio knows that because he'll be like, oh, I remember, you remember back in Final Fantasy 14 when this happened? And I'm like, actually, like, this happened, and it was this
stuff. And sometimes my imagination gets the better of me, but it's still good talking, like, with somebody else and geeking out. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have a problem, and I know I have a problem. So I just think it's funny. I was like that in Final Fantasy 11 too. They used to call me the walking wiki, because someone would be like, oh, I needed to complete this quest. I'm like, oh, well, just go here and talk to this person, then go over there. And do you want to know all the lore behind it?
That's funny, because I was the sleeping white mage. I just, all right, we're doing this. Cheering the right person, cool. Asuna, cool. Yep, we lived. Awesome.
Yeah.
3 hours down, we're good.
So anyway, I think we'll end this before it gets way too long. People have been with us, hopefully are still with us for this long, and it's been over an hour now. So we're going on an hour and like about 15 minutes. So yeah.
Long video.
Yeah, I wanted to keep this under an hour, but that's not going to happen. Yeah. So we'll just end this here, and we will be doing more of this in the future. Hopefully it will not be as rushed, and we're a little bit more put together and everything. But like I said, this was kind of a last minute thing, and yeah, all that fun stuff. So any parting words?
Hey, see you next time.
Yep. And as always, it's been a hoot. Until next time, have fun.